Oops. Gotta love when that happens. There we go. The Mira. Ooh. All right. Look at that. James is in already. Man, sniper. He's a sniper. He literally got in there. Giveaway is up, guys. I know this is your favorite part of the evening. I saw when I looked at my screen, there was 5 people already pounding the exclamation point ticket. You guys are addicts over here. And if you guys see, congratulations to Will. Will is up at the 250 kind of target area. Whenever Will gets time, again, the only thing you guys can purchase now, again, is right now the 30-minute mentoring sessions for 250 pip chips. So Will is up there right now. If you would like to purchase it, he's more than welcome to at any time. Or he can hold on to his pip chips and go for door number 2, which will eventually pop up probably in about, let's just say 12 days. To be at the same time when the Nadex webinar is. Hopefully you guys have all registered for that already. I think I put the link in Discord and I posted it in here as well. I can post it again in Discord tomorrow for you guys if you want, but I just want to make sure that you guys get registered for that. If you do not, or if you are unable to attend, they will actually send it out, and you'll be able to watch the recording of it. So obviously, if you can catch it live, that's always the best. But if not, again, catch the replay of it. I thought I had it right here. Where the heck is it? Oh, there is registration links. Okay. I'll put it in here real quick. Let's see. Copy link address. There you go. And then over on the YouTube side, I'll post it for you guys as well. So everybody can see it. Oops, not that one. There we go. All right. So that's the webinar that I'm doing on parabolic retracements. You guys know how much I love these racetracks. I'm going to do a new webinar, and there's actually a new class being created for them with more specific guidelines. It also has a little kind of a hidden bonus in there that you guys are unfamiliar with yet, and I'm still figuring out how to package it. But basically, it's taking the kind of top move, the top news releases, the percentage for win losses, and then the typical moves that come off of those misses. It's something that I've been compiling for a while. I'm going to release it inside of the course as well. Just as kind of a guide. It's something that I keep to kind of see which ones are the news releases that are actually worth watching, which ones are not, and that will be included in that course. So cool. I appreciate that, James. I appreciate that as well. I don't get anything for you guys registering, but like I said, it's always helpful if you guys can learn something new with it. And again, I told them that I would pass it out to you guys. All right. So let's dive into it today. You know, it's not my favorite day when the Swiss is the largest mover of the day. When the dollar Swiss is at 62 pips in 24 hours and everything else is left, you know what my opinion is, already on the market. Now, what did I tell you guys last night? If the preliminary GDP number was not great and there was nothing, really, and if it was bad, what did I tell you guys? What would happen? What would we be hearing, right? I said if this preliminary GDP number was bad or there's nothing really stellar about it, again, it's lower than the previous. What did I say Trump would do? Trump would say, okay, listen, the trade war is going to be over soon. And what do we see from CNBC 30 minutes ago? Trump says U.S. and China resume trade talks on Thursday. Okay? Imagine that. The GDP is not there, and now Trump's like, yeah, we can work on this. Again, he's just finagling. The whole trade thing is it's fake. All right? I hate to say it, but it's fake news, right? Yeah. So, again, not a lot of movement today. I didn't expect there to be as we're starting to head into the, getting later in the week. As it is, it's Thursday. What are traders doing tomorrow? They're not working, right? They're sitting in traffic. They're going to the Hamptons. They're heading everywhere else but the markets tomorrow, okay? Going into the holiday weekend. And again, when I say holiday weekend, I don't mean my birthday, although it is my birthday. We've talked about that. And just clarification, James, it's tomorrow, not today. I believe somebody said I think it was Ryan said, just in case I forget tomorrow, happy birthday today. So we confused James on that one. Yeah. So James, I do want to say, James, I know you know where I live. I have not gotten my mason jar yet. I'm expecting my mason jar tomorrow. James, it better be here or we're gonna be fighting, brother. I'm expecting my mason jar. And Ernest, I would say I'm expecting a container of the Ernest special rub, but you guys in Texas only use salt and pepper, so I can get my own salt and pepper. But I was hoping that if you were from like North Carolina, I'd be gold. I'd be like, yo, send me like send me a half pound of the special secret Ernest barbecue rub. But Texas, you guys just use salt and pepper. It's like wah wah wah. But James, mason jar, buddy, mason jar. All right, so let's just look at the kind of what we're looking at here. 30 down, some dollar strength here, right? USD, dollar strength. Dollar Swiss, dollar strength. Dollar CAD in this, we have a little bit of weakness. So we have dollar CAD, or we have CAD strength here, which again, thought that was pretty interesting. Again, the current account was good. So it's nice to see that. Get some, again, some CAD strength back in there. And we mentioned before about the CAD going back down to that 130, that lower 130s area. So we'll see where that moves to. Aussie dollar, again, you can see this one as well. Again, negative for the day. So again, dollar strength here. A little bit positive, a little bit positive. Again, 19 for the pound yen is just like, wah, wah. I mean, it's just so bad, right? I mean, come on, the thing's got 110 pip ATR and it's moved 20 pips in the last 24 hours. You can tell that it's definitely, yeah. Okay. The chat is like blowing up on this side. I just keep seeing things, go. What do we got over here? Sign up just now. Good stuff. You're right. Got it. Ain't happening, but the gloves are on. Christmas be coming soon. I like that. I like the sound of that, James. When we get fancy, we throw in garlic powder. There we go. Ernest has given us the secret to Texas barbecue. Salt, pepper, and when they get fancy, they throw some garlic powder into it. I love you guys. All right, so let's just dive into charts, okay? I was debating having a beer tonight when I did this because it is my birthday, but I decided against it. I just went with the tea again. I'm already tired. I don't want to fall asleep on you guys. Today was one of those days that were just crazy, but I got an interesting call today from a certain exchange that would like me to look at a beta platform. And you guys can fill in the blanks, but I was when they offered the chance, I was like, absolutely, I would love to look at the new beta platform. So hopefully I'll get to look at that next week and report back on some good stuff. But I was pretty excited when they tapped me on the shoulder for that one. So I found that out. Actually, I guess I found that out late yesterday, but pretty excited about it. All right. So as far as today, we have some building approvals. Building approvals, yes, it's marked to red. It's not normally the biggest thing in the world that moves. I mean, obviously, if it misses by huge, but it's expected to be no different. The forecast is 0, so I don't think there's nothing in there that is too mind-boggling. Going into tomorrow, again, we can see the personal spending. Personal spending has the ability to move it, but again, I think the big one tomorrow is going to be the CAD GDP. That's going to be a biggie. Again, it's supposed to be lower than it was previous. It was a 0.2 before. Now it's supposed to be 0.1. If that number comes in at a 0.2 or higher, again, I definitely see some CAD driving farther down into the lower 130s I mentioned earlier in the week. And I think that's the biggest bit of news. Okay. Now, again, the price index and again personal spending, it does have the ability to kind of mess with the markets. I expect the markets to get really slow, or the volume to really really dry up by noon tomorrow, or actually by probably 10:30ish, 11ish tomorrow. I expect it to kind of typically that's what happens when you see holiday weekends. The money leaves very very quickly if it comes in at all. I expect lower volumes. The only thing that could get really crazy tomorrow is, again, under the current administration, a tweet will send this thing flying in any different direction. Again, there's no way to predict that. That course is not ready yet. The 30-minute Twitter class. Okay, when that one comes out, then we'll be able to kind of target that a little bit more. But right now, I don't know when he's going to tweet. If he decides to go into the weekend with a bang, just to leave people hanging over the weekend, I guess he could. Right? I mean, who knows? He could drop a 3 o'clock tweet tomorrow and be like, "Whoa, here we go," and you're like, "Oh God." So, again, my recommendation for holiday weekends is always get out early or don't trade. It's entirely up to you guys. I know a couple of you guys have put up some really great numbers this week. A couple of you have been grinding through. Ernest, again, shout outs to you. You grabbed a couple of these 30, 40s on the day, and again, a little bit of adjustment. I think you had a CAD one, you had a Euro one. James, you've nailed a couple of these things. Carl's hit a couple of them. Ryan, I believe you had one earlier in this week too. Josh, I don't know if you posted anything this week or not. I think you've been a little quiet over there. But again, post these things at will. I don't think I've seen any forex trades from you this week. Maybe I have. Like I said, it's been kind of a crazy week with my kids going back. We got to meet the teachers today, and then literally about 20 minutes ago, I got an email that says the principal, who's only been there 3 weeks, has decided that she's going to move classes around. I'm like, hey, you're starting off great. You just told us who the teachers were. I was happy with the assignments, and then you sent us a message that you're going to be changing some classrooms around. So, yeah, if I get a phone call from the school tomorrow, they're going to get it. Crazy markets hang on heavily on his tweets. Yeah, I know, it's just unbelievable, right? And FX Jones, what I find the most interesting about the tweet thing is the previous president, when he would make comments about the market, nobody really paid attention. Like literally at the very, very bottom of the last kind of market crash, right? The very, very bottom, he's talking about how stocks is a great place to invest your money, and nobody paid attention to him. Like, people just were leaving money in the sidelines, left, right. Nobody paid attention whatsoever. This guy makes one tweet, and like the whole world, it's like, hey, we're gonna put in, more tariffs on China in 3 months from now, maybe, and like the market goes crazy because of it. It's like, I don't know. I mean, it's just so weird how it's so much different between the last two administrations. So, with that said, let's jump into some charts here. Okay. Aussie yen. Okay. So Aussie yen had a little bit of life very, very early in the morning, right? About 3 a.m. in the morning. We eventually kind of got some life here. It kind of came down, and then bam, 3 up, 1 down, and then again, impulse correction all the way up, and then it just kind of stopped, right? And you guys can see on the 4 hour, kind of slowed down, and it started to kind of turn around. Now, it did bounce off this bottom area, this kind of last little kind of hurrah up, right? This last little basing level. I mean, it bounced here, it bounced here, it bounced here, it bounced here. Didn't get quite as far, although it bounced off the very, very top of the zone, and finally, right, number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 finally broke through. And what did it do? It ran right into a lower area. Okay, and we saw a little bit of a kickback, but this zone is not as good a quality as this one, again, because this green wick is below the red. It's kind of heading in the wrong direction. Had it been the red wick low and the green wick higher, I'd have been all over it. But this one, it's not as, not as dangerous as the prior one we ran into. Now, with that being said, are we in line for a full retrace back? I think this one is going to have a little bit harder of a chance doing that because, again, this is not a bad little zone here. It paused, pulled back, and then this is a pretty explosive candle, right? No wick on the bottom, no wick on the top. I mean, there's a lot of momentum pushing up, as well as you do have a wick over wick right below it. So it's kind of like the wick over wick was where this pullback hit and shot up, letting us know that there are definitely orders sitting kind of hidden right here in that area, okay? Now, do we have a little bit of movement to run, a little place to run? Yeah, a little bit, about 9 pips before we kind of hit that area, 10 pips before we hit that area. So I think that's what's going to be causing the problems to the downside. I think that'll be an area where it retraces back. With this little basing level here, again, it may come down and then look to grab some more orders there, but we will see. I'd be a little cautious the way this kind of keeps just bouncing back and forth. And again, we do have news. And what are we seeing? And again, these are 10-minute candles, guys. I try to kind of focus in on this one. What are we seeing? With news in 17 minutes, we're seeing price drive down and kind of holding, right? What have we seen the rest of this week? When price drives early to an area, it typically goes in the other direction. So again, the way that it's looking right now, I haven't seen it kind of stop yet. It's looking like it's shooting down to get a better price, like a discounted price to shoot this thing higher. So we'll see where this one's heading in a second. All right. Going across to New Zealand. Okay, again, this one did grind up a little bit more, but you can see it basically all wick on the daily, right? We never got any type of entry on the lower time frames. Let me bring this back up to a 30. Okay, you guys will see. We had this push down, right? Here's where we are right at 19, and there's where we were last night here. Okay, so it did go down. You guys can see it. It went down and then pulled right back up and went just slightly higher. So, again, still stuck relatively in the same area. Again, still not super interested in this one. Again, I don't like this to the top side yet. Again, the top of this prior level is still holding. I mean, it held here, came back down and touched it, and held again. I'm just not in love with this pair, especially because we're so far deep into the week on it. This is not one of the ones that I trade as often as the other two. It just, again, it's got to have enough movement. It got to have a nice setup. And again, being a hybrid pair with a lower volume, you tend to get more wicks in here. And I just don't seem like I just don't mess with it as often. Okay, going to the Aussie dollar though. Again, we'll definitely get these 3 things in. Now, the Aussie dollar is, again, it had a nice little. It did pop right from where we were. It did pop last night or early morning. And then kind of rolled over and we're right where we were. So this one really hasn't moved much. It looks like, hey, it's still grinding down, but not really, right? And again, we had this kind of zone down here at the bottom that we talked about. It went right below the zone. Again, remember, we had this zone and then the other one right below it, right? The zone on top of, a level on top of a level. It hit, it popped all the way back up. And again, remember we said this, people are going to be trying to get into this thing because, it's breaking, it's breaking trend, right? And again, it basically held to the downside too, if you guys see here. Right? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then finally broke out of the top. People got long and went up a couple pips and then kind of went right back into the zone. So if you extend this out, we're riding the top line of it right now. Things that I'd be looking for on this, again, we have this kind of area here. And again, that is this area here. So we're just kind of extending it across. And again, it came on 30-minute. It dropped very, very quick back into the zone. Again, fast entry typically gives us an idea of more or less where it's heading. Like I said, we have this news, building approvals. Like I said, building approvals traditionally is not a huge kind of market manipulator, but you can see how often they're right, right? They're not. They're like kind of all over the place. This is another one. Is like let's just throw a dart and see, what we're gonna get out of it. Um, so we'll stay on that one. I would think you would have to close the gap between the. Oh yeah, wealth builder, you do. It has to be no space. Um, so again, this is interesting because again, setting this. Oops, not that one. Setting this up, it is on the 30-minute, dropping down right into a zone right before news, about 15 minutes before. Dropping down to a 5-minute as well, you guys can see it's kind of gone down and pushed and kind of held down here, right? Again, when we go down, you guys can see the zone is much. If we dial this down, the zone is smaller, although we do have the ascending wicks here. And again, we'll see. Like I said, it came down and it pretty much just stopped for about 20 minutes. Didn't really move much. You guys see all these single wicks here? So, right now it is rebounding just a little bit. We'll have to see as we get a little bit closer. But again, technically speaking, when anything pushes down like this and holds and stabilizes, that's typically where we're looking to go opposite in the other direction. So it is kind of interesting how that's setting up. Looking at pound Aussie, this will be the last one that will have any type of effect with this news. Kind of something similar. Again, this is a 5-minute chart. Again, what did it do? It rallied up and kind of stopped, and it's kind of now started to pull back. As you can see, the green candle is definitely engulfed on the daily. If you guys look over here on the 4-hour, this red is definitely engulfed inside of the green, so it's considered sideways. And even on the 5-minute, you guys can see it. Bring it up to the 30-minute. You guys can see, did it do much today? Not really. Okay, push down, spike up on the other side of the purple line, came down, came up, and again, it's just literally been flaunting this line back and forth. The swings are actually starting to get smaller too. You guys can see once it came across, it came lower, and then now it's pushed on the other side. So it's starting to get closer and closer to this purple line. This one, again, is doing kind of the exact opposite that we just saw in the last one. The other one went down and is based. Now this one has popped up and based. Okay, and looking at the 5-minute, it's kind of setting up to the same type situation. Big move up, kind of, again, starting to flip around the other direction. Not really a confirmation entry or anything. Again, I think it's going to hold this level. We'll see where it goes after that. And again, looking at this, the downside, it's about 25 pips for that retracement for news. So we'll see if we can kind of get back to this downside on any type of a news spike. Okay. Looking at Euro Pound. And let's see, Wealth Builder, are you in? Yeah, you're in. Okay. All right. So, Euro Pound. Okay. We had the big spike that we talked about last night. It came back down, and it really didn't do anything today. It went up a little bit, it went down a little bit, and then just stopped. You guys can see it here. It retraced back down. It didn't make it all the way down to the bottom end of the channel. Kind of came back over, went above, right? Kind of came back lower again, and then again, it just bounced between this level here and this level here. And we're basically flat, right? I mean, here's 2130. Here is 2130. Okay, so we've moved a total of 3 pips. 3 pips in 24 hours. Okay. With the kind of back and forth kind of whipsaw. And again, we need some news, right? We got to get some news. Give me some of that Brexit goodness. Okay. Now, again, you guys know that it's the end of October. They're leaving without a deal. Okay. As of this weekend, as of next week, we are officially in September. So they're going to start with there's only 1 month left to go, even though it's the end of October. But again, 1 month to go before Brexit. And I think the fireworks and things like that are going to start shooting back and forth. Now, I did make the comment last night, and I think it is pretty funny because I did hear that before about how the Queen says we can suspend Parliament and everything else. And it's kind of like, I don't fully understand that one because Parliament is really where all their power truly comes from. And the fact that they're willing to suspend that. And then I kind of think, again, like I made the joke about it last night, but I honestly think there's some, I think there's something to be said about this one, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I mean, I'm not trying to get political here, but if the UK can just suspend Parliament because, it's not working out for them, why wouldn't Trump just say, hey, well, can we just get rid of Congress because they're not helping me, right? I mean, I just feel like that's the next step on things. If you can get rid of Congress because they're not helping you, I mean, why not do it, right? I don't know. I've just never heard about that, suspending Parliament ever before. So I thought that was just kind of like Okay. I don't even know where the heck they're going with this one, you know? Um, and like I said, I'm not a huge Congress fan. I think there's just way too much, you know, when I say politics, yes, I think things get bogged down and this person has a tantrum in that. But I do love parliaments overseas. Like I think it's great that like in the Asian ones they fight each other and like, you know, even, you know, the name calling and stuff in the UK one. I think ours is actually quite tame, right? Compared to some of the other ones. But I love the fights that they have in parliaments. I think those things are great. Um, so for me, again, sideways, 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 no trade setups for this one, right? Especially going into holiday weekend. Now, euro yen, let's see what we can get with this bad boy. And again, red is engulfed. We had a little bit of movement, right? A little bit of a pop and a little bit of turnaround. Now, the pop came off this zone that we had talked about before. We had this kind of marked off again. It retraced to this level, really kind of hugged it, came back, pulled back to it again, came over, pulled back to it again, came across, and then finally popped off of there. And that's what we're kind of seeing right now. So, with that being said, the way that this level down here, right, this 7133 area has really kind of acted as a magnet. Again, it was a launch point back here. It spent time here. Again, we already know what it did here. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of pull back down again. It's only a 30 pip run, and that's why I'm not really looking for too many trades off of it, because any type of risk you stick on this, it's going to have to be a little bit bigger. Now, again, here was a failure to go higher scenario, right? We had a pop up, it kind of pushed down, made an attempt to go higher, and didn't even come to the high. So we did have a red, green, red. So one trade you could have set up if you really wanted to take this back is basically this. Now let me move it to the right place. So right there. Okay. Okay, so about 11 pip, or was it 13 pips? So you had this scenario here. And again, you had that confirmation down. Oops. Running it back to there. Okay. So this was one potential setup that you could have taken care of. And at this point right now, you guys are already about 18 pips in. So you're basically you're just under 1.5 risk into the trade already. Okay, so that's one thing. Again, failure to go higher, red, green, red confirmation. The risk on it is rather small. Okay, it's only 13 pips risk. The total target on this one is between, it's like 3.5, right? 1 to 3.5, not bad, right, for something small at night. So that's about the only thing you can, take it. I get completely there, but there are some of those King Richard and Arlenson need to be sent down. Some of those guys are so old. I just, it's unbelievable. Like, you didn't really realize it, like, when they started talking about term limits for senators, I'm like, wait, we don't have those? And then you hear that people have been there for like 65 years. You're like, wow, how can this guy, one, how did he get voted in for that long? And two, how in touch with reality do you think that guy is after being there for 70 years? Right? I mean, I can't even imagine, right? Like, how many babies has that guy kissed in 65 years? All right, so this is one potential trade setup you guys could have done for euro yen on the nighttime setup. Again, whenever you have that failure to go higher, if on the lower time frames, you can see it, that there is a reversal happening. And again, I just stay on the 30-minute on this one. You could have set this position up, and again, you're kind of well into it. All right. Looking at euro dollar, need you to take out the 2-year election cycle and make it 10-year term limit. Well, it's every 2 years, but you don't get replaced every 2 years, right? Don't you get 4? But then they do like half of it every 2 years. Like there's like an election every 2 years. Like I thought that's how it worked. It was you get 4, but they do half of it like every 2 years or something like that. It gets so confusing. Like I said, it's nuts. All right, so looking at this guy right now, right? So this one has literally been grinding. Okay, we talked about having the profit target here last night, right? Here's where we are 19. And here's where we were yesterday, right? We came down, we touched that target, and we continue to push lower, okay? So, interesting thing about this one is we went from the top 4-hour area all the way down to the bottom one, right? Remember we did this last week? I said if we got a spike, top or bottom, we were taking the short or long. And what did it do? It went up and it literally went down. We almost made it last time. This one has been a runner. I'm actually surprised. I did not think we were going to do it this week, but this thing, and again, we're only talking about 100 pips. So before anybody's like, oh, should I have taken this for a weekly? No, I mean, the spread differential on the weekly Natics strikes are 75. So you probably would not have been able to get this one far enough away with having a good risk to reward ratio to the downside. But again, we did track from the 4-hour to the 4-hour to the bottom side. Okay. It did hit the very bottom and did kind of pop up again. I do like this one a lot. Okay, not the trade tonight, but I do like the fact that we are ending the week inside of a buying area. Okay, big fan of that one. And here's why. Senate's 4 years every 2. Yeah, I thought so. Why I like this one is because we're sitting right at the top of this buy zone, right? If on Sunday we are able to gap through this zone, I'll be looking to take a short off of this zone if it comes up to retest it. Okay, when it comes up and fills that gap, that's our standard. That's our weekend gap play. Okay, we are obviously in a downtrend on the 4-hour. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now on the 30-minute, yes, it is like watching molasses dry. It is slow, but it is just grinding to the downside, right? And again, we can see it over here. Again, pullback. This is one pullback, and it's driving lower. So it's definitely in a downtrend. So if we get the gap, right, down here, then all of a sudden this becomes our level of risk. And again, we can probably shrink this a little bit as well. All right. That's what I'm looking for on this one. So I'm pretty excited about where we're ending. And again, we're far enough away. If we can kind of end up a little bit below here, maybe at the, I don't know. I mean, right now we're at what? 110.50. If we can get to the 110.40 or 110.30-ish range, that would be enough of a gap to come down, have a little bit of a retest on Sunday night. Well, I guess Monday night to shoot to the downside. Okay. Now, interesting thing about this pair as well is we are closed, but the rest of the world is open on Monday. Okay, so for us, it is a little bit delayed with the dollar. So still watch it Sunday night, but again, still watch it on Monday night. Okay, it's kind of almost like a double gap weekend kind of situation. Okay, but again, it's currencies. It has a different holiday schedule. All right, but yes, very excited about where this one is. Not to trade it tomorrow, but trade it on Monday. So let's go over to the Euro Aussie. We snuck the Euro Aussie in right ahead of time. Let's see what this one is doing. Euro Aussie is much more flat. Like I said, it's the green is obviously engulfed at this point. Coming through. You guys can see on the 4-hour, same thing. I mean, it's just for 16 hours hasn't done much. It was grinding. Came up right to this wick over wick, shot right back down to the start of the move. Okay. Like the purple line in the other one, here's the red line, right? Here was the target, sucked back up, based, went up, based, went down, based, went down, based, went down, based on it the whole time, came down and touched, around, touched, based, up, and touched. So it really, really, really likes 174. I'm sorry, 164.25. That kind of seems to be where it is popping back. Let's drop down to a 5-minute real fast, see if we can make it in. We have 2 minutes. All right. You guys can see same thing. Starting at, well, I guess it's about an hour ago. You guys see it started rallying up, right? Kind of pulled over, went back down to grab some more orders, and has kind of pushed higher. So this one has already started to move back in the other direction. It did do a bit of a base at this upper level. And again, it's already kind of pushed down and pulled back again. So this one is kind of setting up similar as well, where everything was driving ahead and then stopped. Okay, now this one is different than the other two, where this one pulled back down again before going higher. So a little bit harder. I don't know that I would trade news on this one per se. I think the other Aussie pairs are probably a little bit cleaner than this one. But we'll find out in 2 minutes if the news is going to be a miss and if we'll get kind of the big spike. But this one is also setting, looking like it wants to head to the downside. Although this kind of spike down here with 15 minutes ago is a little interesting pattern. Okay, I'm going to pound yen. Red on the daily is engulfed. Lower level, upper level here. Again, it's the same thing. Spike retest, spike retest. Okay. Okay, you guys can see where it bounced off of. There's your level basing and a pop there. There's your, oops. There's your level basing. You guys can see what it's bouncing off of. I'm trying to get that little one out of there. There we go. Actually, I guess it's that zone right there, but you guys get the point. There you go. Okay. So what it's doing is it's putting in zones in front of the other ones. Okay. And again, that's what this hit here. It hit this. Okay. So again, bounce off the top. It's not a bad zone right there. I think this one will start to retest the downside too. It's going to hit a couple bumps though. I think there's going to be a bump here, and I think there's going to be a bump here, the downside. Now, if it bounces off these two and comes back up again, this thing's going to be really consolidated going to the weekend. Now, I do expect Monday this pair will be rather flat because it will not have the yen to power it. I don't think on Monday there's any. There's pound there's this manufacturing number for the pound, but I don't know that that's going to really kind of drive it crazy. It's only considered a medium impact anyway. I don't think that's going to be too big of one. I think this one will be pretty flat on money just because, again, the yen will have absolutely no power with the U.S. stock market open. Unless the Japanese bank kind of steps in and does an intervention, I don't see this one necessarily moving. There's just not going to be enough oomph on Monday to be able to look at it. If you guys are looking at charts and trading. If not, again, pick it up Monday night and kind of look at it from there. Let's look at pound dollar. Holy crap. A little bit off there for building approvals. All right, so looking at pound dollar. So pound dollar has been kind of a similar pattern. It's been grinding down. Like I said, we hit this target area here, kind of popped up, and then it's just kind of pushed its way back down again. Same situation. Okay, we are in a sideways down confirmed, right? The red is actually below the anchor right now. The anchor isn't totally engulfed. Again, bit of a retracement. It's already filled the retracement. Okay, so again, be a little bit cautious with this one, saying, oh, we're going to fill the bottom and go back down again. So the fact that we filled it and it's kind of pushed away and it's forming again, I would probably start looking for buys down in this range, in this basing area. Now, the thing about this one, this area that I don't like, I really, really, really like the pop off of it, but it spent what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it spent over a day in this kind of small little area, this 121.25 area. So typically not the best area when you've spent so much time, but I do really, really love the way that this took off out of here. Okay. But like I said, we have retraced off that area. So again, if we get any type of basing, the nice thing about this area here is it did spend a lot of time. You can actually see that area. It's a takeoff on the daily as well. So it's kind of a double kind of look. And again, that starts right here. And you guys can see, yes, it spent a bunch of time there. Not much, not too much below it. And it did kind of bounce back and forth a few times. But the last time it went down, it did not rebound to its lowest point. So that does say something before it kind of took off higher. So we're going to play with that one and see how that one looks next week. Like I said, it's what are we here? Let's see. From where we are right now, you're looking at about 44 pips. Okay. On the daily, if we take the ATR on this one, okay, you're talking about what? I mean, if we take the average, it's about 70. So can it move that much on a day? Absolutely, it could. But here's the problem. Okay. It is a holiday weekend. Dollar is going to be wiped out soon. Pound's going to be wiped out soon. So will it have the ability to move 70 in one day? Don't know that we'll get down there, but we do have an opportunity to close down in this area. Okay, and the fact that we have the possibility to close down in that area, I'm a big fan of that one. Rob is messaging me right now. He's shooting me messages. He's like, yeah. He's like, it was me, man. I snuck in. I was like, yeah, I know. I see you. Hey, I just want to verify, guys. It was the real Rob last night. He was on his other account. Kind of funny, right? All right. So again, I'm rooting for this one to close down here. I want to be down at this buying area going into the weekend. Like I said, two things. One, it has been on this kind of downward trend on the two near the intermediate and the lower time frame. If we can gap below this basing level, then again, I'm looking to go short. Okay. And again, take it back into this 120.44 area. Okay, so it's about 100 pips down if we can break this level. Okay, so I'm looking for that early next week. Pound New Zealand. Okay, nothing. Retracing back again. You guys can see yesterday the body was basically non-existent. Right, there's the body. Today, much of the same. And again, it's just this back and forth playing with this upper level. Okay. At this point, it's starting to shrink too. Let's see. What are we talking about? Still quite a bit of moving. Okay. I guess it should be more like. Actually, let me make it like this. That's kind of more in line with what it looks like. Okay. No, I do like this. I do like this. Okay. But these are getting higher. The tops are also coming down. Here is the high. Here is the high. At least we're pushing there now, but we're kind of starting consolidating a little bit. trying to figure out where I would go short on this one. And you guys can see, remember that we talked about this last night? Profit target 1, profit target 2. Profit target 1 got hit, top profit target 2 did not yet. I want to see if we can get through this little level of basing right here, where this black line is. Last time we hit that black line, price shot right away from it really, really fast. Let's see if we can get up there again. Not that this is a bad level. The green is obviously higher than the red, so I'd mark this off probably here, the 193.85-ish area. And that's just above where this zone kind of tops out at. Yeah, there's a couple short opportunities up here. Like I said, I'm still looking to go short just because we are so high up on the curve. I'm looking for somewhat of a retrace. The fact that it keeps getting pushed down and kind of coming right back up again, that's just kind of what we've been dealing with. Okay, let's look at New Zealand, see what we got over here. This one's actually still continuing to push down. It's just so boring, though. What are we at? Use a different one. Hold on. So from that level, 20 days now it's taken to go down. So 190 pips. So yeah. Still moving. Not an 8x pair. And again, obviously long downtrend. Let's see. Let's bring this up and see where we're probably going to get some stoppage. There we go. Okay. So interesting enough, this is where price is right now. Okay. So price is flaunting with this bottom area. And on a monthly, this is kind of what we're getting ready to come into. So again, two larger wicks, and again, they are ascending this way. Yeah, this is 2009. Okay. Now, if we do break that, then man, we're clear down another 300 pips down to the 56 area. But I think we're going to start running into something pretty soon here on this one. And it's not like, again, this one is New Zealand dollar. I mean, again, the New Zealand is obviously weak globally, but I can't say that, we are rocking as a nation, right? Especially they're talking about lowering interest rates again. So we'll see how this one turns out. Great daily here. All right. I wish we had better zones on the 4 hour. Literally, it's just been the retracement areas are just funky. Double candles. This one's higher. This one's too big. I just don't like any of the retracements on this one. And again, what we talked about before, the movement is really not that big, right? It looks gigantic, but it's been a slow grinder. So like yesterday, yeah, your body top to bottom is only 30 pips. So it's been a grinder for catching on the way down. But I just haven't been interested in that pair. Now, dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss is the champion of the day, right? This one is just rolling. Let's see what we got here. Nice pop. Now, we do have a bit of a pop. We do have a red pullback, and now we're pushing higher. Now, this one is trying to break above the high. Okay, so you guys can see here. Okay, this is where current price is. We are actually sitting at the top of a 30-minute zone. It's the same zone that turned this around. Okay, now again, where this zone hit, let's go back a little bit farther. You guys will see it was right before this kind of level of basing from here to here. Okay, that's kind of where price turned last time. You guys will see it got real close, kind of got front run. Okay, so we're at the same exact spot right now on this one. Now again, we are in an uptrend, right? We are uptrend confirmed, but we are getting to levels where we're seeing some basing. Okay, last time we had this little kind of stealth area of basing here on the 30-minute. You can see that price hit it, and immediately pulled back down again. And then again, we started kind of pushing, to the downside, taking these bottom levels out. So we are actually sitting now at this top area, right? We are sitting here to here. Okay, so last time we hit this area, we were pushed away. We'll see if we can get a new kind of high in here. If not, this may be a kind of a small level to take something off of. This zone is only 5 pips, by the way. It's 98.76 to 98.75 or 71. So it is a rather small area. Not overly concerned about this, although there is this wick over wick. Let's see what kind of measurements we got on this one. It's only about 13 to there, 20. I think I'd run that all the way back down again. If we're able to get some type of a confirmation signal, there's about 44 to the downside here. Okay. And that would bring us back down to this level. Okay. That would put us at 98.28. Actually, that'd put us here. Yeah, we could use that as a target. If we can get some type of confirmation. Like I said, we don't have any type of confirmation right now. We are right at that failure level. Okay. See what this one has in store for us. But yeah, I think we could probably get a bit of a retrace, shoot this one back down. Okay, if we can hold. Not there yet, though. Let's see. Look at this. Boom, up. It's not going to be fast. Again, this is 5 minutes, so. Okay. So yeah, looking for somewhat of a retracement on the dollar Swiss. Let's look at dollar CAD. Okay. So dollar CAD came all the way down, went all the way back to the top, and is now kind of based back and forth sideways again. Had that nice little drop in, nice little kind of repop up again, right? This first initial push down went lower, which is a little sneaky. This would kind of take a lot of people out. Retraced all the way back up again, and then has pushed its way back down. So did not make it all the way back up to the kind of the start of the move. It actually used this base as kind of the turning point for it. As you can see, the green is engulfed. We are technically sideways. I do think this one, there is some type of trade possibility tomorrow. I want to see kind of where we're able to go in this overnight. I would like for it to kind of either get stuck here and start to push its way down a little bit. If overnight we are able to get some type of pattern where we are coming below here and doing one of these things, I'll be looking to take this short tomorrow morning, right, to the downside, for something along those lines. If we can get that to come overnight, okay? If we wait till morning and it's still kind of floating up here, I'm just afraid that the news release is not going to be able to have enough effect on this one. It's not going to be set up well enough for us to head to the downside. Any downside target, though, is definitely going to be down here at the 132.22. I think when we start getting these low 130, 130s, this is important, okay? And like I said, there's no real reason for us to, they had pretty good numbers. There's no real reason for us to be kind of driving this one a little bit higher. Again, smaller country, good numbers for them should be really good. It should be driving us back down. Like I said, I want to get that as 132 and then start breaking a bit lower. And again, that's kind of the sideways channel that's been on the daily. It also coincides with where the start of the last big spike was, and price has already been down there one time. Okay. Now, it is only a second retest, so I don't expect it to go too much farther. I think it will stay most likely inside of this channel where it keeps coming up and going back and forth. So be very, very cautious. I wouldn't hold this one too long. Again, if you are getting in tomorrow morning for news or any type of retests, just make sure you're clear so you don't get stuck over the weekend with it. All right. Let's look at dollar yen. Dollar yen gave us a 50. Let me see here. This one had some mix in the middle, so it's going to be a retest as well. Yeah, this one had to pop up and then pop right back down again. Okay, so again, here, 19, and we were right over here. So you guys can see a little bit of pop, a little bit of a retest. Again, where did it turn off of? Pretty easy. You guys should be able to figure this one out by now. There was the green area for the target. Okay, now remember, we've had this green target planned for a while. It missed it here. Okay, if you went back down, you may have gotten frustrated. It did come back up. It did retest, and now it is turning around again on this 4-hour zone. And again, typically, this was our first target for the retest. Anything that happens after that is a viable entry. So this one did come up, did re-enter and go lower. As far as taking a confirmation trade, this one, you wouldn't have got into it. Let's see. Really would have just got into it just over here. And again, this one didn't really give us much of a pullback. It's a 15-minute. Go down to 30 and see if it gave it to us earlier. No, not really, because this red didn't go lower. We reset sideways. You have the red, green, red is right here, your first one. Okay, confirmation outside of the zone. Let's see. Could we have made this zone any smaller? No, not really. Unfortunately, it was on this big candle. I mean, I guess we could have done that as your zone. And again, the trade still would have entered if you wanted to kind of refine it down to a lower time frame. Again, it looks like just the wick over here, but it's actually the entire green candle, the top one before the turn and the flip. Okay, and again, I'd add a little bit of wick over them. And you can see it didn't spend much time in there. Again, has pulled away. Let's see what he got here. It's about 30 down now. Okay, again, this trade would have triggered about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. Again, bouncing off that level. And again, this target right here, again, if you would have set that as alert, there was your trigger to get in. Trying to think. So just throwing targets out there for me on this one. I think we're going to have a little bit of a bump in this area. Spent a lot of time there, and then I think the second overall target would be down here. Let's change these to the green profit targets. Change this one to the green profit target as well. And again, that would have been our solid end. Change that to the blue. Okay. All right. So again, first target would be down here. That first target would be, let's see, 37. Okay. Target number 2, which again, obviously is probably not going to happen until next week, would be 71. Overall risk in this trade would have been about 8 pips. Okay. Let's bring this across. Something along those lines. So those are 2 different options. Again, targeting the first level of basing. This one you could have used. It's kind of where we're stuck at right now, although based off of it being low and this one spiking all the way down to kind of grab more orders, I feel like this one down here would be a better target than just this kind of pullback basing area here. And again, the secondary one, there is a little bit of a wick over wick, although it is very tiny down here. You guys can see it here to here. Again, it kind of pulled back and again, not that much farther. This also puts us just under the 106 level. Okay. The wick over wick goes down to 106.06. We're close enough that typically the 00 number would act as a magnet, kind of suck it in, and then again the target level is only 6 pips below that, so it gives us a little bit of buffer to the downside. All right, CAD Swiss. Let's see, come on, you can load. I have so many windows open right now, it's amazing. All right, so CAD Swiss actually had a pretty big pop today. Again, we saw the other Swiss pair as well pop. Again, right off the top of that level, look at that. Remember we talked about these ascending wicks. The purple line would be kind of, the magic area for us. Okay, it did. It hit this line straight right off the top. This retest would have probably got many people. I know I probably would have gotten stopped out on this one because we had the confirmation to the downside, kind of played with this golden line again for the trigger. And then a nice pop off of that again. It's really kind of stabilized the last, I don't know what, last 10 hours. Or I'm sorry, last 7 hours. It's basically stabilized itself up top. You guys can see that over here. And again, it's looking like we want to turn and flip. Now, be cautious with this one. This is a big thing up. You're like, hey, wait a second. Is this a racetrack? No, it's not. There's this big retest in the middle of it. And again, this is not, pop. These are not bad zones over here. This basing is just kind of junk. It spent so much time there. But, again, it obviously found some buyers down in this level here, in the 73.90 area, but also we have them up here as well. Okay, which is not a bad zone. It's a nice, again, pretty nice form candle, very very small wicks, nice base. Again, boom 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 right off the top of it. So again, kind of compressed. Again, you can potentially trade this one tomorrow with the Canadian news. I would probably be looking more for somewhat of a bearish trade in this one if I was going to trade this one. But again, this would not be my first. It'd be dollar CAD or CAD yen would be my first two kind of attempts tomorrow for the CAD GDP number, not necessarily this one. Going through. The interesting thing about that one too is you guys see the X that I said don't go anymore. It's gone through the top multiple times. So this pair came down, you guys can see. Okay, it did ended up hitting the profit target, the dotted line right in here. Okay, it grazed right off the top. And what did we do? We pulled all the way back to the top, and we said if we got back to the top, we would be interested in potentially taking a short. Now, the one thing that I mentioned last night is I was hoping that this one would grind through today. It would kind of do whatever it wants to do, and I was hoping that we would end up in this top selling zone when we went into the GDP news tomorrow. Now, again, we did have a kind of a pop down, and we're still right now inside at the very, very bottom of this kind of this zone, right? I do like this zone still. I'm happy that we're at the top. Going into news tomorrow, if I had to pick anything, I'd say I'd be looking more for to take this to the downside, which would be CAD weakness, which means that CAD would miss. So what that's saying is this one right here would come in lower than what the forecast is. Okay, would be at a 0.0. Okay. Now, other CAD news this week has been kind of, it's been somewhat mixed. There's been some goods, there's been some bads. But technically speaking, we are at the top of the range. We talked about if we did have a spike up, you guys remember this blue and this blue? There was the spike up we were looking to short, and it halted right at the 4-hour zone. So being in the 4-hour zone, going into something like GDP tomorrow, again, with the US dollar not being as strong as it could be, I think that gives us some good potential for this kind of, again, turning and getting really bearish. Okay, so that's what I'd be looking at. Heading back down, at least down to this the 79.50 area, about 50 pips from where we are. And again, it's probably only good for about a 50 pip run, but we'll see how far it moves down overnight. Remember that the other side of the channel is, really kind of down here in the lows, the 79 area. Okay, so again, has a potential of 100 pips. 50 to the middle right here where we saw the last spacing level, and then 50 down to kind of the bottom of where this long wick is. Okay, let's look at the Aussie pairs real quick. Yeah, this one just continued to push down. It wasn't enough to really kind of spike it in one way or the other. Yeah, kind of see how we drove up based, didn't do much. This one drove down beforehand. It actually went through this one, which is nice. But again, the wick over wick is kind of what gave it a little bit of an error, this piece here. So nothing super exciting on that one. Let's see. Again, this is 10-minute chart too, so we didn't really get much. No, this one literally just went sideways and based. Let's see. This one a little bit more of a movement. Again, 5 minutes. Yeah, this one actually kind of burst through the bottom and then turned. Let's see, how much are we talking here? It's only about 10 pips, so wasn't a very big drop whatsoever. And again, came down, stopped, and now it's coming back up to grab it. So, yeah, not much. How much? The news was off by a fair amount. Yeah, but again, you guys can see, only considered a medium. If this was the United States and there was that big of a miss, this would be a lot more than a 10 pip spike to the downside. So again, rather kind of blunted. I'm sorry, this one right here. Okay, rather blunted reaction, right? Not the CAD, the Aussie. Rather blunted. And again, you guys can see how close are they normally? They're all over the place, right? This one they missed by 19, 3, 4. This one they're pretty close. This one they thought positive, it came in negative. Again, this one was supposed to be 0 and came in negative. But again, think about building approvals. How much is building approvals really affecting your overall economy? Not that much, right? It talks about, it's government approval. It's, not that big. So just because it's red here doesn't mean that it's actually red in any like the kind of platforms. And again, a 10 pip spike and it's already retesting, there's just not enough room for us to do much. Yeah, it's retesting okay, but what are you going for? Figure the spread on this one is 2, right? So the spread is 20% of the overall move. Actually, the spike candle here, so this spike candle right here is only 7 pips. So yes, it's retracing a 7 pip candle, right? Because back here, this was at 9:30 my time, right? Or 9:15, 9:20, 9:25. Here's the news candle, and the news candle is 8 pips. But the spread, if you guys look up here, the spread is 2 pips. So the spread is, well, I guess the spread's actually 25% of the overall movement. You're not just saying? What do you mean I'm not just saying? What do you mean? Explain that one to me, Sir James. James is typing. This is going to be a long, extended one. Oh, I'm just saying. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, again, you'll see that type of retest, and again, it's rather slow. Again, had this been like a 50 or 60 pip run, then yeah, absolutely, you'd be diving on this one, trying to get some type of a retracement or retracement on that one. But it's just one of those things. The retracement has to be at least of a certain length, and it's just not really. I mean, yes, on the 5 minute, it looks like it's gigantic, but I wouldn't really consider it a parabolic move. Maybe it is for this time frame, but again, 10 pips. One of those things that I don't talk about enough probably is really what the spread is, to make sure you guys are always following the spread. The spread can help you or hurt you. And a lot of times, I find more times than not, when we ignore it all the time, especially when you first start trading on something like MT4, you'll get taken out because you're looking at bid charts. And, all of a sudden the ask price comes in. You're like, wait a second, it didn't touch there. Why did I get taken out? And you're like, oh, right, the ask took me out. So again, focus on that too. Make sure that the spread is not too big for the pair. Aussie dollar shouldn't really be too, but again, nighttime, everything else going on. I believe Aussie yen is probably a bit smaller. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's stuck. Yeah, it's about 2. They're both around 2, which is not bad. Both of them are retesting. Yeah, see this one, it kind of did its one spike. Here's the 30 candle, right? And it's almost all the way back again. On the 10-minute, let's see. What do we got here? 12 pips. So in a 10-minute, a 10-minute, 30-minute candle, it's tiny, rather small. So unfortunately, I was hoping we'd get more out of that one, but we didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's just based off your broker. Yeah, I mean, right now, again, the farther we pass it, let's see. Now we're down to 1. See, we were at 2, and now we're down at 1. So again, that will fluctuate back and forth. Yeah, I mean, it's based off the broker and the news and other things going on. So, not too bad. Not too bad. And again, Oanda would be the one to look at. That would probably be the lowest right now. But again, 0.7 is really, really tiny. They're just expecting it not to move anymore. That's kind of what it's rolling into. All right, guys. So that's kind of it. Like I said, again, looking at these figures for the day. Again, a lot of this has moved tonight. This one is the only one. This one is continuing to move. This one's moved about 9-10 pips since we've started today in the upward direction. And again, when dollar Swiss is the biggest move of their day, and again, the pound is finally starting to get some movement. This was a little bit lower too. Yeah. Next week is September. Let's hope that it's business as usual next week. I would love to see some volatility. I'm hoping that there's like a battle royale in Parliament. I'm hoping that the Queen throws, Prince Charles out and everything gets super crazy next week, because I'd love the pound to get some major movement next week. I'd love to catch something real big. You made 110 off of it. Hey, 10 pips, buddy. Grab it where you can get it, man. Grab it where you can get it. That's all that matters. And 0.7 on 110 on a standard, I mean, you're looking good. So, yep. With that being said, Ernest has just reminded me, make sure you guys get your not hashtag. I don't know why I keep saying hashtag. Exclamation point ticket. Get it in now. Look at Ernest. Ernest is like, I'm going to wait till the very last minute because that's the guy that keeps winning. So I will give you guys another, I don't know what, 30 seconds? Let's get a tweet from the Queen. Does the Queen have a Twitter account? It's a really good question. Ernest is sneaking in. He did it last week and stole one of them. 15 seconds, guys. Come on. Make sure you get him in there. I think everybody's in. Silent, you're in. Josh, Ryan made it. Yeah, you guys are all in. There's a royal family one, but I don't think she deals with it, right? I don't know. All right, closing the giveaway. Okay, I'm going to draw the winner, and the winner is FX Jones. And I think you did it a while ago. You were in the beginning, so we've just totally debunked. Didn't you win last night too? I think you won last night too. Mark giveaway is complete. Does it tell me who won? Let me see giveaways. Can I see? Oh, look at that. Look at that. My man has two. He got two in a row. Oh, that's the first time that's happened. That's pretty cool, though. I gotta admit, I'm liking that one. That is pretty cool. And with that, we now have two people over. Man, this guy just cranked out what 50 pip chips in 2 days. Oops, I just gave you 500. Hold on. You had. Hold on, I was supposed to give you 25, and I gave you 250, I think. Hold on, I'm gonna reset you. I think you are at 253 is what you're supposed to be at. There you go. Salt and peppery now. Yeah, he did. Oh, nice. James, I'm wondering what kind of kickback Evan Jones pays Bryan for pep chips. You gave me 250 instead of 25. Yep. Yeah, you're good. So yeah, you're right in there. So we have two people now. Two people over the 250 mark. Okay, now there's supposed to be a dancing shark or something else that pops up. So whenever you guys take advantage of that thing, inside connection. Yeah. Hey, you guys see me hitting the buttons. I don't have any control over that. I mean, from start to finish, you guys saw me do it. I hit the copy button, the create and start, right? And it goes right in. I mean, nothing in here. You guys can see it, you know? I mean, look, when I hit clone, give everyone their first ticket for free. I can make you guys pay for tickets, but that's it. There's no favoritism here. Jeez. Guys are always blaming somebody. All right, guys. With that being said, I am getting out of here. You guys have an extremely safe and, again, give love to your families for me this weekend. Enjoy yourself. Give some remembrance for, what the holiday is actually about. It's just not about barbecues. Drink some beers, have some barbecue, and I'll catch everybody on, obviously, we're not going to do a Monday night because that's the holiday. I'll see everybody on Tuesday night next week. All right. Maybe if I'm around and my kids are, having completely drained all my energy, maybe I'll jump in Monday night real quick. I'll shoot you guys a message on Discord, but definitely back on Tuesday. Also, next week for Nadex, there is not a Nadex webinar on Monday morning, but there is one on Tuesdays. From now on, we will be on. I'll be on Monday and Tuesday morning for Nadex, so make sure you get registered for those as well. All right. Silent Hound Dog, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm 43 tomorrow. I'm like super old. My wife asked me, she's like, does it feel really weird, to be 43? I'm like, you know what? It doesn't feel any different than 42. Like if it was a big number, like if it was like 50 or something, yeah, probably. But like, I'm like, yeah, I don't feel any different. 42 was bad. 43, I don't think is worse than 42, for lack of a better word. So, but absolutely, guys, I appreciate it. Oh, also, do me a favor, guys. For my birthday, if you guys have not gone across to YouTube, please go over there and subscribe, follow, whatever it's called over there. Please go do that to the channel over there. We're trying to get up to 100 so we get the personalized address, just like we have here at Twitch. It just makes it easier than having all those kind of like the numbers and letters and everything else in there. So if you have more than one account, please go over there, like us over there, or follow us, or subscribe, I guess is what it would be called, just so that way we can get up to 100 on that side as well. All right. Appreciate it much, guys. Except in Jits class. Yeah, tell me about it. I'll be there tomorrow. They want me to go in tomorrow at 11. I'm like, I was like, okay, am I setting myself up for going in on my birthday? Yeah, definitely the mason jar. I know I want a mason jar. I bet you James has got some like really smooth, really smooth shine, right? Maybe that'll be the poll next week. How many people think that James has got the really good shine? We'll see how it goes. All right, guys, you take care. I will catch you guys next week.